All right, and we are live here with Sirmet Beck from Beck Insurance, a good friend of mine and expert insurance agent. Sirmet, thank you for coming on the show, my man, and
Thank you for
introduce
having me, my
everybody.
brother. Appreciate you so much, man. My name is Sirmet, founder of Beck Insurance. Moved out to South Florida from New Jersey, so basically born and raised in New Jersey for a long time, and built the markets out there with Liberty Mutual. At first, I was a captive agent for Liberty Mutual. Did all right there. Decided to move the fam down to South Florida right before the pandemic, and luckily we were down there during that time because it was good.
Yeah,
What else? What else happened? And I actually transferred offices from Liberty Mutual New Jersey to Liberty Mutual Fort Lauderdale,
right.
and I always saw the independent side for me was better because of being independent, having all the carriers, really being able to help my clients. Like on the independent side, I don't care what carrier we put you with.
Yeah,
Whatever's the best for my client, that's the one we're going to choose.
right.
Whether it's
Rather,
coverages, whether it's value, whatever ends up being. Um, we don't care which carrier it is as long as it works for our client the best, and that's what we choose. So that's like one of the main reasons why I want to go on this side, and then the whole independent side of running a business was always an entrepreneur at heart.
right.
So coming onto this side was just a no brainer for me, even though there was a lot of risk, having two kids, selling the house, cashing out the 401k is no joke.
Yeah,
Back
but you got to do
back
what you got to do. You got to bet on
exactly.
yourself, right? You got to bet it on black, and you're gonna put it on who you count on, right? So
That's it.
kudos to you for taking the chance of going on
Thank
your
you,
own, and
brother.
I know it's going good. But not everything is great in the insurance world here in Florida, right? I'm getting calls from from people, from my clients, telling me how the insurances have been jacked up, people
Oh
getting
my god.
dropped. Condo insurance has become a problem. you know because so many people are calling me, I wanted to bring you on the show and let people know what's going on. Are there things being done to kind of maybe control the insurance rate hikes a
There's
little bit?
there's a lot of stuff going on, and what it is it's not just Florida. Even though Florida is probably getting hit the most out of every state in the country, Florida has the highest increases in the country. I was just looking at statistics. It's pretty crazy, and even my own insurance went up. I mean, I'm an insurance agent with good credit, good driving history, no accidents, no tickets, and even my rate went up. So
Yeah.
it's just the nature of what's going on right now. And I've been in the business for 10 years, so this is the craziest stuff going on in the insurance business in my time, which I've been in the business 10 years. But I speak to agency owners and wholesaler owners, and they've been in the business for 25, 30, 40 years, and they're telling me they've never seen anything like this before. So, but whether it was inflation, whether it's natural disasters, whether it's the government printed $22 trillion a couple years ago during the pandemic that caused everything to go up. Increased number of accidents, flooding in Miami, the hurricane on the west coast that happened on the west coast of Florida that happened, causing everything to go up as well.
Right.
It's nuts. And then Florida is also the number one fraud state on top of all of that.
You think
So
fraud has a lot to do with our rate increases here in Florida?
absolutely,
Yeah. I wouldn't
absolutely.
I wouldn't have put that one on the top of the list, but I guess fraud and hurricanes is probably the reason
Yeah,
why your insurance is
you've
so
been
high.
you've been in Florida a lot longer than me, so you know how these roofers. The biggest problem was those roofers. So the
I don't
roofers,
think anybody in Hialeah has paid for a roof in 40 years. So
exactly.
that-
So they made up, but everybody else is now paying for it.
yeah.
The rate increases are nuts. I've seen like home insurance rates go up by $3,000 for the year. It's like
Yeah.
I think of
Me personally, I think it's a big issue because like I got hit with a 3,000, it was almost $3,000 rate increase. It was like $2,800.
yeah, yeah,
So I was able to shop my insurance around. I still ended up with like an $1,800 rate increase with my insurance.
yeah.
And, I had to sacrifice,
Some
my insurance
coverages.
carrier coverages because I couldn't get comp
Hmm.
insurance, right?
Yep,
Because they
yep,
chop it up one way or another. But, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford that kind of rate increase,
yep.
right? But, there's families that are like, hey, I can't afford this, right?
Yeah.
And what's going to be their option, right? Because
I
is
feel like
there,
some of them are going to be forced to leave, not just Florida, but wherever they are. You know, with the rate increases, it's like people living paycheck to paycheck. How are you asking them to afford another $300 a month?
yeah, no,
You know,
it's hard.
it is.
It really is hard, and there's really no.
Yeah.
I know a lot of landlords that are self-insuring, right?
Yeah.
With paid
Yeah.
off properties, they've decided to self-insure,
Yeah.
so that's something that people are taking on additional risk, and
Yeah.
it could
Which
work out.
it sucks that they have to, but because of the insurance costs are so high, it kind of makes sense to do that.
Right,
So like we come up with some creative ways and at least getting liability insurance on the property. So if
right,
somebody falls or if they get sued or something like that, they would kick in and cover at least something. But
right.
for the property insurance is a difficult part, especially in this tri-county area of South Florida. The rest of
Sure.
Florida is more difficult than everywhere else in the country too, but the tri-county areas, Palm Beach County, Broward, and Dade, it's it's nuts. But
Yeah.
the government is doing some stuff. So they offered, I believe it was $22 billion. I forget the amount, but they offered a bunch of reinsurance money to incentivize other carriers to come into the state, which is happening right now actually,
Right.
which hopefully will be good. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. That's good. Number one. Number two, he took away the assignment of benefits from a claim. So that was the biggest problem. So what these roofers were doing, and I don't know, somehow, some way, they're still kind of doing it, but they would go around knocking on doors and cold calling. Hey,
Yeah.
I get you a new roof for free. Sign here.
Yeah. I've gotten
And
those solicitations before personally
right,
for my
right,
houses.
right. So that's what they were doing. And then once you sign on that piece of paper, so now John Smith Roofing Company would talk to your insurance company. Hey, this happened. This happened. They know exactly what to say, and these insurance companies were paying out. So the government put in. They signed a bill last year, I believe it was. Maybe it's 2 years ago now, where they cannot do that anymore. There is no more assignment of benefits. So that's a big clutch move. I think that hopefully we'll see the benefits coming out at the light at the end of the tunnel is next 2024, fourth quarter 2024. That's kind of what I'm hearing industry wide as far as the stabilization of rates,
Right.
um, and hopefully stabilization of everything then. But so that's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what we're learning. That's what we're
That's
hearing.
a really long tunnel.
It is.
So, but
It is.
let me ask you something, because some people now are more than ever are changing insurance carriers and companies. So if somebody was changing insurance agents or agencies or brokers, right? What's the procedure for changing carriers? Do you have to
On a
send
it's
people
really easy. So
notice?
no, I mean it's all prorated. So as far as like, let's say client calls me and like, hey, my rate went up. I want you to shop it. I heard good things about you or whatever. So then what we'll do is usually if it's in Florida, we'll collect the wind mitigation of 4-point inspections and the old policy,
Right,
and then we'll get to work on shopping it through all of our carriers. We have every single carrier. There's Citizens, which is like the government, Florida's own state ran program. A
right,
lot of times when you can't, the other carriers wouldn't be able to place it. We put it there, and that actually became the biggest home carrier in Florida because no carriers were writing business. But now there's a company called Slide. There's a company called Monarch. There's Security First. A couple other companies are kind of opening up and taking in policies at somewhat more competitive rates than Citizens. I feel like maybe Citizens is kind of doing that strategically to kind of get policies off the books and not
right.
write more business, so these other guys can get a shot at it. Um, but I think it's good. Citizens, anything government ran is not the most efficient thing in the world. So if it's
Right.
private companies running it, we hope that it's going to be more efficient and just better solution for everybody.
Now, when somebody says, "Okay, I love your quote, Sirmet. Let's go with it." Um, you know, Here's my payment, or I'm going to assign your escrow, whatever. How should you notify your previous company?
Oh, okay. So let's go there. So what'll happen there is let's say okay, we shop the rates. We're going with Slide. It's the best carrier, best rate, best value, whatever. And then what we'll do is then okay, client agrees, and they're paying their home insurance through their mortgage company.
Right.
So I'll take their mortgage company. We'll put it into the Slide policy. Me and Slide will send it to the mortgage company. Their
Right.
new proof of insurance, along with an invoice for them to now pay Slide instead of the old company.
Right.
And then what we normally do is we could send a letter to the old carrier, but I always either get on the phone together with my client and call the old carrier to cancel it out,
Right.
or I just have the client call. Either one. If they need my help, we'll get on the line together to do it, or they'll call, cancel it, and sometimes they want a copy of the new policy, which they have, or I'll send it to them, either or, and
Right.
then they'll get a prorated refund back from the old carrier, even if it was escrow billed, like billed through their mortgage company,
Right.
even if it was escrow billed, the client will get that physical check back, and then they could choose to deposit it back into their escrow. I always recommend that.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is you get that check, whatever it was for, 3 grand, 4 grand. You take that check, you say, hey, mortgage company, I'm sending it, or you deposit it into your account that same amount, and then you take that same amount and you call the mortgage company, say, hey, I'm sending this amount of money, put it into my escrow,
Yeah. So
and
that way
that's
you're
it.
not short on escrow for next year.
This way you don't mess up your escrow account. You want to make sure there's enough there for taxes, insurance.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, listen, it's good to know because a lot of people are shopping their rates around right now,
Yeah.
and they want to know what to do. And it's good because now you know that you're going to get a prorated amount back, even if you cancel midway into your policy because you're
Yep.
shopping around your rate. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
so that's
don't be scared. Don't be scared to shop. Call a good agent. Call me. I'm around.
yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
well, let's hit them up where they could
Oh,
where they.
you can find me at Beck Insurance on Instagram or any of the social stuff. My direct cell phone line. You can reach me anytime. Text, call 973-722-7672 or beckinsurance.com, bekinsurance.com.
bekinsurance.com. Hit him up. He's great. He does great
Thank
things
you,
for our
thank you, thank you,
clients.
thank you.
So with everything that's going on right now, I've always said you should be shopping your insurance policies every year, anyways, to make sure
Hmm.
that you're getting a great rate. Working with a great broker like yourself, really cuts down on having to shop for
Yeah,
individual
it
carriers.
takes a lot of time to go through each individual carrier, and why do you need to do that? Like we don't charge any fees. So I know some brokers charge extra fees for
Yeah.
doing the work or whatever, but the carriers pay us, and my job is to make sure clients are educated on what they have and what's going to get covered, God forbid, and also try to be there when the ish does hit the fan, because it's not when it's
Well,
not if or when.
it's getting the service when you need it, right? That's one of the
Hundred
things that
percent.
I've had problems with companies in the past is getting a hold of the agent, that was servicing my policy,
Yeah.
and either they left or they're not there no more, and nobody's there to take another call. You're literally got people's back because you are you're the face of the
Yeah.
company,
Exactly.
and everything's going to come back to you. So right now the person that's got your back, really.
Exactly. My only boss are my clients and my wife. That's what I
Yeah.
joke around.
So, let me ask you, Sirmet, if somebody, because like the insurance, I always said if I wasn't in the real estate industry, right? I love real estate. I love what I do. I love helping my clients. But insurance is such a great vertical to be in as a career for a lot of people, I've known a lot of people that have built great successful companies and have had great financial success with insurance, right? If somebody was looking for a career in insurance, how do they get into this, and like what would they expect to do within their first year or 2 years in the business?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. I went the captive route. So I went what captive means. I went with Liberty. I chose Liberty Mutual, and I could only sell Liberty Mutual at the time.
Right.
So they don't, you have to sell Liberty. There's no other carrier. So in one way that was kind of good, because then I could super focus on that product and I could use. They have really good training. Liberty has one. They're known in the industry to have like the best training period.
Right.
And I had a really, really good manager that helped me build my confidence up and realize what I'm capable of. Shout out Pat Gainey, happy birthday, buddy. Uh,
You did a good job, Pat. You did a good job.
yeah, he's the man. So you go that route, right? And then you could be an entrepreneur there and kind of grow and spread your wings and make a lot of money and stay in there and do it that way. Or you go there's the other one, State Farm. There's all State. They're all going through what they're going through, with every carrier's going through now. But there's those channels, or there's the independent channel where which is my side. So now you get contracts with Allstate, Traveler, Safeco, Liberty Mutual, Progressive, and all the different carriers, which nowadays that's a whole science in itself to get those contracts.
But I come to work for you, right?
Yeah, or
an insurance
you
agency.
Work for an independent guy like me.
So you come and work for an independent guy, or you go work for that, like Allstate or whatever.
Yeah.
And we say, hey, you know what? Now you're writing insurance policies, right? Where what's the what's a career in insurance look like for the typical person looking for a new, I spoke at a college the other day, and everybody was like, hey, you know what? I want to be a broker, right? Because I spoke to a real estate broker, real estate grads, right? And everybody was like, I want to be a broker. I'm like, you don't want to be a broker, first of all, right? You want to sell properties, or you want to manage properties, right? Like that's what you want to do, but you want to make money in the industry. You want to help people. You want to do a lot of things, but you probably are using that term wrong, of what you want to do. You don't want to manage insurance lines and people and all of that. Yeah, you might just want to sell insurance, right?
Yep.
And make a living selling insurance, or start off by doing that and see if you like that before you go on to owning the whole brokerage. So like when somebody wants to start selling insurance, they get their license, they go through their licensing course, and they come
licensed to the state.
Yeah, and then they come work for you. What does their day-to-day look like on that? Like,
so the day-to-day in the beginning, let's say they have no experience, right? What I would do is, honestly, I used to be a phone guy. I still am, but really crazy with Liberty. So I was lucky where there was house accounts, and we have a ton of house accounts too now, but the house accounts that they would have is where I would just call, say, hey, thank you. This was like probably 200, 250 calls a day we would do. I would do. And I would say, just introduce myself. I'm your local agent. I just got assigned to be your agent. You've been with us for X amount of years. Oh, by the way, you're not receiving a certain discount, or let's schedule a coverage review. Let's do this, let's do that. And just being there, just like a voice of a new voice. And maybe they haven't been called on in probably years too. Just what happens.
Right.
And somebody like that actually wants to do something for them, like a lot of those accounts that I was calling on, there was like, who knows what. Sometimes the home coverage would be all out of whack, or the auto coverage would be all out of whack. And I would just call them to help, see what I could do.
Update their policy, get their coverage right.
Exactly. And then eventually, even if, like, I'm not trying to sell them nothing, I would just call and say, hey, and see what I could help with.
Right.
And then eventually they'll be like, oh, can you call my cousin? He needs his insurance just went up like crazy, or he needs a review too, or whatever. And then that would end up being a sale. So
so let me get this straight. You were hitting the phones, literally calling people that you had no financial interest in servicing their policy. It was actually for your mentor or the company that you're working for, just pure service, right? You were
pure service,
just offering free, unadulterated service, and you were getting rewarded by referrals.
Yep. Referrals, or Liberty and all of us, we still have a lot of different products. So sometimes it would be like not solid, all clients are solid, but like a homeowner with kids that has auto insurance and a home insurance with Liberty, but they don't have an umbrella, right? An umbrella policy is a personal liability policy. Like like people who have a lot of different assets,
Right.
they probably should have an umbrella too, which is like it's like an extra $1 million of coverage. God forbid
Right.
they're suing a lawsuit for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
So a lot of times it would end up being like a cross sell. Like even though I'm not looking to do it, but if it makes sense for the client and everything else, it made sense. We just did it. And I
That's
ended up being my first year. I was like one of the rookies of the year, like rookie top rookies in the country or whatever. Then I went on to the Liberty Leaders the following year. So it was a simple formula. That was one part of like build. That was like a confidence builder and like figuring out the
yeah.
formulas of insurance success, basically.
So
And
how much business do you think that, or that simple technique, right, helped you develop in your first couple of years?
how much business is hard to say. I didn't get out of it.
Well, not business, but like, how much value do you think you found in that experience?
The priceless. I mean, the amount of like confidence I built in myself, the amount of things I learned about people, and just like I'm naturally a curious person too. So we would just spark conversation on whatever randomness we would end up talking about, and I would meet this architect comes to my mind, and he built this crazy barn style house that was one of the coolest things I ever seen. He showed me the link, and it was insured with Liberty at the time for like 6 years, but it was insured totally wrong. So I ended up going through it with him, and kind of he went through the pictures, and I ended up fixing his policy by a tremendous coverage amounts. And it was just cool. The house was like I like real estate too, so there's always synergy with these. You never know who you're gonna talk to. It could
Yeah,
be, like one of the Giants coaches was my customer, Dave. He was a cornerbacks coach for the New York Giants. He was a cool
that's awesome.
dude. Yeah, so you just never know who you'll end up running into on the phone or in person, and it ends up being a cool convo. It's just, I guess,
It
if for somebody new coming into the game, just be open minded, man. Open minded and curious.
Yeah. So
You know,
be able to have honest conversations with people,
and
you know.
be honest. Be
Yeah.
honest, because everybody could tell bullshit from a mile away.
I like that one. I like that. Yeah. People do have a bullshit meter that, you can't
Hmm.
go past. And
Yeah.
there's good form in keeping it honest, right?
Yep.
If you're not going to be able to help the person, let them know, hey, look,
That's it.
what you got is what you got, right?
Hmm.
Don't try to get them into something that's not good for them,
hundred
right?
percent. Don't
Because
don't 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 ever do that shit.
yeah, it's
It's
just
not
gonna
worth it.
be it's
It's
just
not
gonna
worth
be
it.
a blemish on on your reputation
Yep.
later.
Yep.
So, man, it's an interesting time in insurance,
It
Sirmet,
is.
and I hope to have you as a reoccurring guest on here to keep us up to date with
Yeah.
what's going on, and
Anytime, man.
you
Anytime.
know. So,
Yeah. Yeah, look forward to helping you guys out. Look forward to always talking to you, bro. You're the best, man. You're the best. I say this after actually I met you, Bella, in a unique way. I saw something on one of the
Facebook,
event
I think, Facebook
meetup or
events.
Facebook
Yeah,
events, and he was doing a first time home buying seminar. And part of my business, I have to go talk to realtors because they need insurance agents to help their
yeah.
clients. So I ended up going to this home seminar, and I stayed the whole time with you. But it was like any guy who stayed through this whole thing just to talk to me at the end is good. But Bell, I mean, I say this all the time. He's the best realtor that I've ever seen in my life, and he's ex-military. He's a family guy. He's a good dude.
I appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Nonstop hustler. He's always there.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, sir, man. Listen,
Appreciate you,
it's
bro.
awesome catching up with you, man. And one more
Absolutely.
time, let people know where to find you because you're about as good of an agent as they come, man. And
Thank you,
I
man.
can't recommend you enough.
Instagram at Beck Insurance. Cell phone direct line 973-722-7672. That actually goes to both of my cell phone numbers, me and my partner. He's basically my twin. He's the best too. His name is Irfan. He's the man. So if I can't pick up, he'll get it. And if he can, I can. So either way, you'll have one of us. Sirmet at beckinsurance.com is my email. Beckinsurance.com is my website. Feel free to reach out anytime. Any questions? I'm an open book. If you guys need anything, we're here to serve. With us serving, you know, God put us on the planet to serve others, and that's what we're here to do.
Sirmet, you're the man. Have a great one. He's got
Love
your
you,
back,
brother.
y'all. Bye.